Welcome to the learnings of Chris in ECI 831. I chose to present my learnings on a tool called Scratch and have created an 8-bit adventure that will take you through my learning this semester. Most of the action on screen will be my little avatar going through a metaphorical learning process. You will also find the format of my commentary of what is happening on screen familiar if you have ever watched a walkthrough or commentary. Let's begin the game. A year ago I had decided to start my Masters of Education. I had learned from Dr. Kuros in undergrad and knew that I had more to learn. I enrolled in ECI 831, Social Media and Open Education, when I saw the opportunity. I was delighted to be exposed to new concepts and ideas. The wise Dr. Kuros showed me that in order to educate well, I would need to develop my personal learning network. Join me as I show how I develop my PLN and learn the ways of social media and open education. At the beginning of this course, I was already on my quest and had already had some basic digital skills in place. I had a Twitter account but barely used it, so you can see that it has a spider web on it. I already had a personal learning network of teachers I could call on, but this was analog and not digital. Also, I was using technology in the classroom, but mostly in a substitutionary way. I thought I knew what digital citizenship was, but mostly focused on just being safe online. I have awesome passwords. So I had a lot to learn as I entered into my first ECNI 831 class. During the first couple of classes, Alec introduced us to Twitter, WordPress, Google Communities, and of course how to use Chrome. We were told that in order to develop our digital PLN, we would need to increasingly use these platforms. This is definitely a class where the use of your device is encouraged. This class is called Social Media and Open Education, so it's no surprise that we were to be on Twitter right away. I already had a Twitter handle, but I'd never really been comfortable with Twitter before. I always kind of felt that it was like trying to drink from a fire hose. Anytime I'd gone on it before, I'd quickly been overwhelmed. The lessons on TweetDeck and searching and organizing things with hashtags helped me make sense of it, and taught me how to engage with Twitter. As I started to use hashtags myself for my blog posts and also for my other posts, I even started to grow my PLN and got followers that I did not know in real life. We were becoming more active online with our blogs, Twitter, Google Communities, and more. We started to learn about digital citizenship. We had a wonderful guest instructor, Katie Hildebrandt, talk with us about the 3 levels of digital citizenship. We learned to become responsible for our online identities and actions like responsible citizens. And then we're challenged to consider becoming participatory and even justice-orientated. The practice of digital activism is an area that I'm still exploring. Currently I am more comfortable with in-person activism and working towards change that way, but I recognize that speaking up online has its appropriate time and place. I try to pick my battles and generally still prefer to deal with people one-on-one with a direct message rather than fighting with them in the comments. Since learning more about digital activism, my new practice has been to use hashtags to indicate support for something, and if challenged on it, I then try to engage with the person with a direct message. So far this has kept the comment wars to a minimum, and occasionally has resulted in the other person apologizing. The class where we were shown open educational resources was like being given the keys to the candy store. Suddenly I could look up quality textbooks, workbooks, quizzes, examples, assessments, activities, and more. When I think of all the resources that I've created over time, when there were so many great things available, I shudder. But OERs work so well because teachers do create great stuff, and just because I might not think my idea is the most original, it does not mean that someone else would not find it useful. So one of the important lessons I learned about being a digital citizen was that I need to improve my own sharing, and that OERs are only sustainable if we all do our parts to support them. Part of doing our part is respecting the intentions of the author. This means that if I pay for a resource and it is copyrighted, that I do not share that resource. Likewise, if I find a Creative Commons resource or some other copyleft material, I should follow the attribution rules and not try to sell it as my own creation. During the class I also learned that using a digital resource and things I find online should not be done just for its own sake. We should be adhering to the SAMR principles, which I had heard of before this class but never understood before this class. Some technology will serve as a digital substitute, and this is the equivalent of us wading out into the learning ocean a little. Others will see some lesson adaptation, meaning that we're starting to swim and explore a little bit more. But the truly great uses of technology will be when we immerse ourselves in a new way of teaching. It is then that technology will modify and redefine the way we teach, and we will discover some amazing lessons. A big part of digital citizenship and online education is learning how to discern what to trust and what is fake news. One of my favorite resources this semester has been Michael A. Caulfield's work on web literacy, in which he talks about 4 moves in a habit. The 4 moves being to check for previous work, go upstream to the source, read laterally, and circle back. The habit being to actually practice doing this. And I also learned that sorting through the fake news is not enough to really determine what is happening in our world. All of our media is mediated. This means that we need to find ways to look beyond our filters to see what things that are real that we're not being exposed to. This often takes effort on our part to go beyond our usual sources and use tools like escapeyourbubble.com or politeecho.org, which will show you genuine material from outside your bubble. There was also some stuff that scared me at first about educating online, but now I'm becoming more comfortable with it. The legal side of caring for students online. I've learned how to teach them to use the acronym THINK. Is it true? Is it helpful or hurtful? Illegal or inspiring? Necessary or kind? Before they post. I've also learned much more about LaFoip during this course. I am now much more careful with my digital records and make sure that only the records I need are created and that they are only shared with the people who need them. Then when I'm done with them, I delete them. So am I done my quest? No, of course not. The digital world is continually changing, but by participating in this world, I will be better able to get the help that I need and to offer the guidance that my students need. I want to thank you for watching this. I hope you found it enjoyable and that you understand a bit more about the things I learned this semester. There could have been so much more in this video, but I think I hit all the highlights. I do want to make special mention of one of my favorite resources this semester, which was Everything is a Remix. It inspired me to remix one of my favorite games from my childhood, the original Legend of Zelda on Nintendo. It is also why I chose to make this on Scratch platform, because it's a coding community that encourages people to remix the work of others. Thanks again for watching.